Good.
And we're good.
All right. Welcome everybody to the Boomer Talk
We're
podcast. My
good.
name is Jordan. You might know me as
All
One
right.
Up
Welcome.
Analytics. My co-host is Taylor, aka Somebody's Gun, and our guest today is the man behind, I guess, some of the best EU Fortnite tournaments, third-party tournaments around. Crazz from War Legend Fortnite. Welcome to the podcast this week.
Hello, thank you for the invite. I'm pleased to be here.
So we got a lot to talk about. Obviously, Frosty Frenzy's going on right now. So anybody's tuning in the background while they're playing Frosty Frenzy, appreciate that. We're gonna try to keep it a little old chill today, so everybody could vibe out to the podcast while playing. But before we get into like news, all topics, we got a lot to talk about. Let's Kraz, do you want to give everybody a little bit of an introduction about what you do over at War Legend, just so everybody has a good understanding?
So just the first thing you need to know is that War Legend is a non-profit based in France, and the community behind it exists since 2000, based on MMORPGs. And War Legend is on Fortnite since 2018 in March, and I joined in end of March, beginning of April. And since I've been managing all affairs related to Fortnite, and it started with tournament organization and continues with offline events, creative, project management in whatever kind of events happens on Fortnite, and even some broadcast production, none in Europe and Middle East, but not so much in NA at the moment. And my role in all of this is basically to lead the team, decide strategy, and after that, act as a project manager on the biggest event we have to deal with, and to be a fan from some time. Someone has to wear the colors, obviously.
You're a busy
And
man.
that's it.
Yeah, and it's definitely a busy week for you right now, right?
Yeah, we have the Creative Madness ongoing. It's a 150k euro tournament managed by Epic with content creators in creative. That's original. And tomorrow we have a 50k euro tournament on Battle Royale linked to the same event with almost 100 players, content creators from Europe. The Battle Royale is from Europe, and the creative is like we have people from Northeast America, Europe, MENA, Japan, Korea, and Australia. So we had some people going up early this morning and finished late yesterday to manage our friends in Northeast America.
Awesome, awesome. All right, cool. Well, we're gonna jump into the news here. We got a few things to cover. I guess the first one that we could get right into is going to be just looking at DreamHack from yesterday. I guess I can't full screen that, so we'll throw it up there. But DreamHack and NA East took place, I guess, Thursday now, and Miro continued his hot streak. Just won FNCS, has been doing super well. Won with Young Calc. Those guys continuing to play well. Um, Not really much to discuss there, but just wanted to give a shout out to them, especially Miro for his continued success. It's impressive that he is able to win event after event. Obviously, we got Frosty Frenzy going on. Uh, I'm sure people are playing that right now, so we don't even need to talk about it. And I guess one cool thing personally for me, like I was someone that grew up playing Halo 3 and Halo 2, and now we have Master Chief within Fortnite, so that's awesome. Fortnite continues to impress with the collaborations and the different people they're able to bring in. We also had, a Walking Dead piece that's soon to come. Not as much a fan of that one, but still some cool things to come. Anything that you guys, Jordan, were you a Halo guy growing up?
I was. That's probably like one of the first games where I like sat down and like fully played out the campaign. Me and one of my friends from like I guess it was middle school at that time would just sit in my basement on this like really small like box TV and we would split screen the campaign and just have a giant jar of pretzels sitting in the middle of us, and we would just sit there hours on end playing the campaign over and over. It was pretty awesome.
I
But
remember similar experiences. I would love to go to my friend's place just to play Halo because I wasn't allowed to have it at my house.
yeah,
Crazz, are you a Halo guy? Oh, it looks like you're muted.
Yep, sorry. That's because my girlfriend is speaking to the phone, so I'm trying to mute. So I played to the first one. I loved the story, but once the game switched to console, to Xbox at this time, it was a long time ago now, it's fair. I could not follow, and I tried literally to play with the controller. And the problem, I tried the first campaign on Xbox, and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome, yeah!" And actually, I had a guy in front of me. I empty my clip 100%. I didn't hit the guy once. I say, yeah, okay, never in my life I touch a controller again with an FPS. That's over for me.
Oh boy.
So yeah, no, I stayed on MMORPGs, much better, easier. But yeah, but I'm really happy to see Fortnite expanding their collaboration with third-party brands. Yeah, third-party IP, but yeah, brands, because it's real pleasure because it brings people from different communities into the game, identify themselves to something they like, and not necessarily, for example, because not everyone wants to be a superhero, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like Marvel is cool, like there is a lot of hype, and especially with the last Marvels going out and stuff, that's cool. But here you have the ability to have like a manga character. You can be Kratos, you can be Master Chief, you can be like the model will be soon on Fortnite. You can be whoever you want.
Yeah.
Not quoting
Yeah.
any brand here. Come as you are. But yeah, maybe a future future cooperation. But yeah, I really like the idea they open, and I'm looking forward to what it brings to the game, because obviously the more identity there is in the game, the more original gameplay there will be, and maybe the more entertaining. That's how a game refresh itself. So I think it's good news, at least a beginning of a good news.
Yeah, I would agree. Something that'd be really cool. This is kind of just a tangent that I thought of right now. Is if you could, take a picture of yourself and then it would create a model and you could literally be yourself within Fortnite. I'm sure down the line there's someone scheming about that and making it happen, but to be another awesome addition.
Yeah,
yeah.
but that would be a serious problem in moderation.
Oh, they've done like a very similar thing in I think it's NBA 2K, or it might have been Madden, but one of the sports games they did that similar thing, but it just turned out to be so awful that like nobody really cares about it. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Epic Games has the engineering capabilities to improve on that, but like I don't know. Yeah, like you said, the moderation with that would be uh I don't know. It would be pretty brutal.
Yeah, I think they prefer spend time on the how is it called this already? The stuff they do with Ninja, Power, and others. The Icon series.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think they prefer invest some time and money on that. Good quality communication, good content. It includes some, let's say, I association between the players and their idols they want to personalize in the character. So I think that's a good win-win.
Yeah, for sure.
In meanwhile, we have the technology for this type of stuff with the moderation option, obviously.
Yeah. Well, all right. So maybe not the best idea in practice, but in theory, it's a good. Last piece of news here is the other FNCS winner that played with Miro, Day, formerly of TNA, had a whole little blow up situation on Twitter. We had another hashtag free insert player here situation going on, which little background in case you don't necessarily know what happened. Allegedly, Day was getting $600 a month and he re-signed his contract after winning FNCS. That news was leaked and a bunch of players were like, okay, an FNCS winner should be getting more than $600 a month. Cool, great, all right, whatever. at the end of the day, he signed the contract, the organization agreed to it, and there was probably more than just simply monetary investment from the org into the player. And this is another example that kind of like, if I'm an outsider looking in, the community bullied a player out of an organization. He was signed to an organization. They said, okay, we don't think this is enough money, and then had a whole trending topic. And even if TNA wanted to, they could have kept him on the contract, but that would have just been terrible for their brand. It would have been a bad look, so you can't do that. It's all about the community within Fortnite, and if you piss everyone off, that's not going to help your brand. So um, I think honestly this is just really shitty from all sides because one, I mean TNA awesome. If it was, we don't actually know the specifics of the contract, but to me an FNCS winner should get more than $600. But at the end of the day, if this was me or one of you guys who's an adult, you're probably getting held to that contract. It's a little harder to be held to a contract when you're 14, 15, 16 years old because, it's not good for a company to be forcing a child to stick with something that they don't want. It's just bad imagery. So just want to throw that out there for you guys. It was something that came up in the previous week and lots of discussion happened on Twitter around it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know really what to say about this because we don't know about the actual terms of the contract. I think there's probably like some fake information flowing around about what the contract details were. So it's hard for me to have like a strong opinion on this. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like a very gray area because like you said, we're dealing with 14, 15, 16 year old players getting signed to contracts. And I don't know, there's just a lot of gray area there in terms of like business ethics and that kind of stuff. So it's hard to say.
Yeah, but on this matter, I think players all around the world needs to understand just one thing is that when you sign a contract with a company, it's up to you to be helped by the people close to you, your parents first, if you're a minor, obviously, then to seek for legal advisement or to get a manager, a professional one, not like someone saying, hey, I'm a manager on Twitter, because there is a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, you're linked to this contract, and players like I don't get how professional players can actually denounce a contract on Twitter when actually contracts are the main base of their professional life. Like it's saying like contracts can be reneged by public, exposure and stuff. So it means that in the future, companies will be less willing signing contracts with players because of this type of backslash they can have. Because actually they were good enough to negotiate with a player without necessarily bad intention at the beginning, because we need to split. There is and I think the best example we have is in France. Sorry for that. MCES. They signed Andilex years ago. Okay, he had the opportunity to switch teams, but he stayed at MCS. I'm guessing the negotiation were hard because it was just after his wins of the FNCS, not sure, beginning of this year. Mm-hmm. And just to understand that being linked to a brand and your ability to understand that when you sign a contract, you sign your honor with it. Like it's your name you put on the paper. It's not like just a piece of just a formality. It's literally your name you put on it. When you after that you are associated to someone that is been freed because you put deep shit on the brand, your reliability for your brand. So meaning like you are less chance to sign another contract, a good one, in your future because you're a risk for a brand. So best advice, don't put your contract on the public stage. Just negotiate. Everything is negotiable. And the case we have here is a proof. The owner of the company linked to the contract can actually resign with agreement of the players the contract, no problem at all. It's just a matter of talking to each other. And after that, make people intervene that are actually wise and experienced in it. And again, it's if I'm allowing myself to say so, it's because part of the Fortnite community work we should all work towards is to actually make it more mature, more reliable, more I'd say to feel safe, because we all know that business is always good when you know where you are and when you know where you're going. If everything is blurry and everyone is shitting at each other, throwing stuff at each other, obviously no one wants to invest in that. So be safe, guys. Just seek help before. Once you have signed, that's over. End
Yeah.
of story.
Ellen,
Yeah.
like the organization did nothing wrong. Like a lot of people made them to seem like the bad guys. It's you. The world is not full of infinite money. You can't just throw infinite money at things. And at the end of the day, the business needs to make money. That's why the business exists, is to generate revenue. And if you're spending thousands of dollars on a player who you're not getting revenue in return, like, it just doesn't make sense. Um, any final thoughts before we jump into our topics today?
Yeah, real quick on last point on that topic is I don't know, I keep on thinking about uh why am I forgetting the name of the Coalition of Parents in Esports, COPE?
Yes.
Um yeah, like it seems like Crazz said, like we need to move the community in a more mature direction. And you can't just expect 14, 15, 16-year-old kids to just suddenly become more mature. There needs to be some sort of leadership, some sort of guidance. So shout out Cope and what they do, because I think that's really important, especially with these contracts, in terms of giving players the guidance that they need. So yeah.
Solid point. All right, Jordan,
Yep.
you want to take us into our topics for today?
Yeah. So Crazz was touched upon it earlier, talking about third-party uh, collaboration with Epic Games and with Fortnite. Let's narrow that down to tournament organizers. Obviously, Crazz knows a ton more than we do about this, and probably has the most information on this, like of anybody in the Fortnite community, to be honest. So this is incredible to talk about right now. But um, I mean, we have a number of questions on third party tournament organizers, and we'll get to them all. But just give us a little bit of a summary of, like, how do third party tournament organizers succeed in Fortnite?
Uh, there is that's a funny question, because one of the point I've noticed is that as you know, War Legend, we started in March 2018, as I said before, and we never organized any tournament before that. Okay, no experience in esports whatsoever. We had some esport team in CS, whatever, but it was like more amateur stuff. So nothing really. We are not esport basically. We started that, and we succeed. The first reason is because we were in France. Don't know if some of you recall how it was before at this time, but custom games were available, like if it was gold find or even a very rare material that only very few chosen ones have access to. In France, we had the chance to have a huge support from our community coordinator at this time at Epic that allows us to organize tournament. Not only War Legends, we were, if I recall, we were like 3 or 4 tournament organizer at this time. The first tournament organizer that did that was that did a big event was actually Solari from Yoshi from Solari team. He's the caster. You met him like in multiple events of Fortnite. You saw him, sorry. They did like a 2,000 player in 2017. So we are not the first, to be honest. But there is something where we were the first, is we are the first to innovate. And that's how actually tournament organizers succeed on Fortnite, by innovating. Every tournament organizer you see succeeding in Europe or any country is because they manage to find tools to help them to organize better, more reliable events. Why? Because after that, it makes them more comfortable and they can actually take more risks, so they can improve and make event even better. The first tournament we did was 100 players, obviously. Nowadays, the biggest tournament we organized had, I think it's 5,000 to 6,000 players at the same time on our platform, on our own tool, built in-house. The biggest tournament we organized in term globally was in Europe, and it was in 2018 in June. It was a Pan-European Cup with almost 200,000 slots taken by players, not unique players. I would like to, but not. But it was a lot over 3 weeks of work. And how the fact that today in Europe, if you're looking for a tournament organizer for your offline event on Fortnite, usually you call War Legend in the Western Europe. When you have ESL, DreamHack, and a lot of tournament organizers existing for more than 10 years, tells you a lot about Fortnite. The best anecdote I have is that one of the first LAN I attended as a consultant to help the guys with Fortnite, the guy started the conversation by, don't worry, I know how to manage a tournament. I have 10 years experience in LAN tournaments, so I know how to manage. Say, okay, no problem. If you need me, I'm just in the corner. 2 hours later, the guy was crying in my shoulder because everything was going sideways. The game was crashing. Players was lost. Everything went, literally everything that could go wrong went wrong. Added to the usual, LAN stuff that can go wrong. So obviously the guy was in deep shit. And since I've noticed that it's the same with every event organizer. Why a group like War Legend can exist, and you guys in North America, you have the chance to have practice server that now has a huge experience. I don't know well the western part of NA. I'm certain thanks to the, I think it's OpenScream, you also have some other skilled tournament organizers there. But to be fair, in Europe, it's a huge competition on this. So yes, becoming a tournament organizer of Fortnite is hard, and the best way to succeed is to actually to innovate. To sum up, told you I talk a lot.
That's really interesting though, because of that competition that you had, and DreamHack and ESL just came together, and just this week they both put on tournaments. So the fact that War Legend has been able to step into this space and make a name for themselves is really impressive, because when I hear of a tournament being organized by War Legend, I'm like, all right, that's going to be a good tournament. To me, the tournament organizer at this point kind of lends a hand to the success of the tournament, because we've seen certain people try and invest and just throw money at a prize pool in Fortnite and not do it the right way, right? Like, there's no advertisements. You find out day of the tournament that, oh, there's a $300,000 prize pool for this tournament, and it has had no success, or no one even knows about it, and then you're scrambling to get viewers, and obviously Fortnite viewership is pretty solid, and you have the right people playing in it, you'll do well. But can you speak a little bit about how some tournament organizers, and we don't need to get into like specific people, kind of like the downfalls of organizers, or like what can go wrong outside of like the specific tournaments?
So you mean like organizing a tournament on Fortnite comparing to other games, or because I'm not sure to understand. Sorry, English is not my main language, so
No.
Can you rephrase that so I'm sure I understand your question?
Yes. So within a Fortnite tournament,
yeah,
what needs to be done before the physical games start in order to allow tournaments to be successful, and what are some of the things that you see go wrong?
Okay, so there is the first setup, the first parameter that is the most important usually is it a PC or cross-platform tournament? Because here's the deal. If you're on PC, usually you're good to go, because today with the replay passers, with your own system, whatever solution, you can use Mayhem, you can use whatever, Legend obviously, but you can use also others. whatever, that part it's usually covered by the system, so that's okay. For cross-platform, where it becomes a bit problematic is that you cannot control very much who's going to enter your game, and you only know at the end of the game. And the most important, you need one admin per lobby of 100 players. So it starts to become very complicated to organize. The biggest we did was like 6 months ago with 10,000 cross-platform players, but it was only with two games, one or two. Yeah, it was one game for each 100 players. So it was 10,000 over a day. We had 10 admins for hours. Was like, yeah, not really interesting in terms of competition, but in terms of organization was cool. The second stuff, this is the most difficult, and I'm happy to say that we almost cracked it. It's literally the key distribution. Because if you take any tournament organizer at the moment, if they don't use a key safety, let's say a secure way to distribute the key, they cannot promise that 100% of the player in the game, entering in the game, are actually qualified or player registered to the tournament. So Unite did a great job for long, thanks to their distribution system, but it's limited to a number like, I think it's 100, 150 players. So that's limited. I know that now a lot of organizer in the world try to put that, like 90 in South America are trying to build. It's an ongoing process. We're talking with them about it for key distribution. But when you go to a 1,000 player tournament, how can you secure that? And that's the main issue for tournament organizer. It's like, how can I secure that? And I think the best example of what not to do was ESL, GBL ESL. Like, don't send the key before the tournament. That's the most obvious. But to be honest, I've seen worse. I've seen that it was on the first DreamHack summer. I think they literally put the key. They were like, I don't know if they were shouting the key in the hall. You know how we work with DreamHack. Like, everyone is not playing Fortnite where around you. Everyone plays the game they want. And the guy was either shouting or putting on screen the key. Like, everyone was joining, even guys not registered to the tournament and stuff. And that's where it becomes very dangerous for a tournament organizer, that they need to secure in advance a list of players. So actually, when people start playing, it's only people they decided, accepted, play who are playing in the game. That's the most difficult part for a tournament organizer. And obviously after that, you have the usual Fortnite stuff, the no-show. How to make sure that actually players come to play to a tournament. And here everything can go sideways. Like, literally, you can have either players don't read the invitation, don't read the registration page, so they forget about the date, the time, whatever parameter you can find out, or just people don't joining. And here, the best way we recommend to our clients usually is to open registration at most 48 hours before the tournament. This way, you have a usual no-show of 20%. 20% is the most average. 48 hours. If you're up to 1 week, you can end up with 40% of presence, so 60% of no-show on your tournament. So that's a big no-go, because literally it breaks all your organization. You invested a lot in terms to have admins for managing twice the number of people and stuff like this. So I hope I replied to your question, Wiley, but I think you have a big picture of what we need to do in advance. And the last thing that is the most difficult is the invitational tournaments. For the same point I've said before, plus the lack of professionalism coming from players, obviously. When you have two admins, okay, sorry for the English people, two admins, then you have as let's say like someone who worked like on the design, then you have a caster, then you have the producer, then you have two ops, then let's say you have like communication people. So you can say you have 8 people who work for an event that lasts 3 hours. When you have on the 100 people, you have 40 people that decide after the first game, this tournament is shit, I just drop. You're like, okay, we just lost, I don't know how many hours of preparation for that. That's the main reason why we stopped doing invitationals without 1,000 euro cash prize, because below that, it's literally a shit show with players. Their mindset is not set. It's just elsewhere, and it's useless for us. We gain nothing. They gain nothing. Everyone lose their time. So let's keep directly to the solution that works. So now we switch to open games. That's it.
Yeah, that's crazy. There's so many things that you just mentioned that I have not thought about for a second in terms of like, wow, this is something that really takes a lot of time and effort to like the key distribution, for example. Like that's something that a lot of people would not think about, is a huge part of making sure that the tournament flow, operates properly. Um, but yeah, that's insane. And obviously, you guys have a lot of people behind the scenes doing that work. Uh, I've had the pleasure of working with and interacting with a couple of your engineers behind the scene. Shout out to Alpa. Shout out to Ga. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that correctly. Um, but yeah, I mean, and you guys, I think that you guys probably have like the best back end tools that I know of. I can't think of another tournament organizer that has like the type of like infrastructure that you guys have.
To be fair, up to my knowledge, since this week, not before, because before it was working, but this week I can say it's working now, so it's okay. That's good news. Trust me, I had the biggest, most stressful week of my life here. But yeah, it's since this week I can tell you that yes, you won't find any other solution that brings registration process, key distribution, and automatic scoring for unlimited number of players anywhere else in the world. Mayhem provides the scoring, but they don't provide security of the key. They don't provide registration. You have to develop your own. You can have access to API, so it helps you to organize things. But the third thing I've told you, we are the only one in the world providing that as is. And the only other guys I know actually we don't heard about at any point. But trust me, there was a most advance on it for a long time. It's a CIS region. These guys, no one hear about them, no one read anything about them because no one read Russian. But for a long time, they had the most optimized tournament tool ever on Fortnite. Literally, they were working with screenshots, but they were able to organize tournaments with more than 5,000 people playing.
Oh.
And with screenshots, listen, with screenshots, and it was working perfectly, smoothly. And they were running like it's FSL that runs that, and they run that since the beginning of time of Fortnite competitive. So it's like these guys, you don't hear about them, you hear about us, you hear about practice server, but these guys are the best because they have an engineer specialized in automation, and this guy is a genius, literally. He can have like a 1,000 people lobby with screenshots and have the result in 2 seconds, and the
Jeez.
level of reliability is very high. It's like, how do you do that? That's not possible. But actually, they did it. So just so you know, there is other people, but at the moment, what I can tell you is that what we do at the level we do and with the exposure we are doing it, we are the only one in the world to do it at the moment. And yeah, literally, like I like to brag, but here I'm not bragging. It's literally based on fact. And please, if you hear about anyone else doing the same, let me know, because I love to analyze and how it works. And trust me, we bring this information to everyone we are talking about, even to our clients, telling them, yeah, if you don't like our tool, the way it works, there is another tool working differently that will maybe match better your needs. So you can actually build your own event, matching the needs of your sponsors and stuff. So if you have other tools that works, tell me, because obviously it will bring more events on the community and original content, obviously.
And the last thing on this topic before we move on, because we pushed the time limits of this one so far, but I mean it's really fascinating to listen to. How has Epic's support for third party tournaments changed over time, improved over time? I mean, obviously we know that they're introducing a lot more like in-game tab tournaments. We've seen DreamHack some War Legend tournaments, um, and obviously I think from my understanding, they're Epic's collaboration with third-party tournaments could be a lot better. They could be providing a lot more tools than they currently are. A lot of the stuff that you guys do are kind of like it's just you guys engineering stuff on the back end for yourselves rather than Epic stepping in and giving you guys access to stuff. But how has that improved over time, and where do you think that's going to go in the future?
Interesting question. Actually, a very good one because things have changed since we started to work on that. It started by being ghosted, literally. Then it became how it's called a friendship, but like one is in love with the other and the other one not in return. But let's be friends, like friend zone it, like
Right.
yeah, let's be friends. Stay in your place, I stay in mine, but we can talk to each other. Now it starts to become more like not a partnership. It would be a strong word, but you saw since beginning. It's since COVID arrived in Europe. For us, it was like literally visible, like big. In April, if I'm not mistaken, April there was a big change in terms of policy with third parties. To be honest, 1 month before it was like everything in creative is the future. After that became like a total switch to battle royale was the future. Like, okay, guys, we just were preparing creative stuff. Now you tell us battle royale is back. Okay, why not? So it was hard. Now discussion are more open. That's an information that is not confidential because that's public. They recruited someone as third party how you call this third party events manager. So a person at Epic that is specialized in being the point of contact and oversighting all third party events. Literally changed my life because all our community, and he is at the competitive team. Okay, so it means that at the competitive team there is someone dedicated to talk to third parties, which was later not the case before. He was like, we had contact with the market manager or some people from the competitive team in Europe, which was limited to one person for a long time. And it was like very hard to get, the guy has literally a continent to manage plus a full region because he was managing MENA also, Middle East and North Africa. And you have your event, whatever the cash prize you put on it, you never reach the numbers of Epic. So how can you talk to someone where actually your event is like 10% in the base case of what they will do in terms of engagement, retention on the game? Like you cannot talk to these guys. It's like every second they spend with you is a loss of business. Technically speaking, it's that is. But they took some time. Now we have a dedicated contact. We have more open understanding of the license guidelines because that's something we didn't talk before, but as a tournament organizer or whatever event you do on Fortnite, you have to respect a license. Or you can actually, your event, if it's too big, Epic will come and say, ooh, not good, shut down. Like 24 hours before your event, and you're like, what?
Oh boy.
And trust me, I've seen a lot of this, like last minute stuff. That's the ambience, that's how it works. But that's hard, but they improved a lot. And I thank them for that because it makes me feel that all the sweat, and I said that personally, all the sweat I spent talking with the guys with Epic, trying to convince them, like saying, yeah, guys, we want to help you, like help us help you. We don't want to exploit your game. We want to make the game better. We want to make the experience on Fortnite better, and not in our view, on our view, your view. Like we know you have so much work, and I will not go back on the hours the guys at Epic do, and even again today. We know you work a lot. You spend your day, your nights, every time. Like 4 players, let us help you. And over time, they learned. And thankfully, obviously, good intention is never sufficient. But I hope it's what happened. Their management opened a bit the doors and allowed some experience to be built. And it allowed step by step to make things better. The biggest change I think in this was the arrival. I think it's Nate, the guy in charge of the competitive team. He was the guy from Overwatch League.
Right.
I think his arrival literally, you take the game before and the game after, literally in terms of competitive, different change. After that, as a third party, you have to understand that it's a big. Epic is a very, very big company, a lot of services. Things move very slowly, and there is a lot of political stuff. It's the same in any company, So at some point you have to accept that. But good news, they changed. And the fact that I told you that this week we were working with them to organize like a creative tournament, and tomorrow we're working with them to organize like a battle royale tournament. They could organize it in game, but they asked us to organize it. So you see, they work with third parties to organize their own events. So that's something that is, I think, a good news.
Yeah, that's
if I can
awesome.
finish on that.
And to be honest, even someone who's involved in events, like I had no idea that there was this shift and they've continued to support third parties, because I tried probably over a year ago now, I tried creating my own event and it was shut down. So now that there's someone in charge, like hopefully, there's possibilities to get things out there and more opportunities, because that's good for you as a third party tournament organizer. It's good for me and Jordan, who love to talk about and watch the game. It's good for the players. Like that, there's no downsides to additional support for the competitive Fortnite game, as we all love, and that's awesome to hear. Now, okay.
If I can help you on that, so imagine you want to organize like if people like watch the live or even the VOD. If you want to organize a third party tournament on Fortnite or whatever tournament, like it can be like just playing a game with friends. The only thing you need to do is you go on Fortnite.com, you go on the competitive tab, then you go on the rules tab, just in case, take notes, okay? Then you go to the second and the third line, because the first line is for the tournament rules, the second line for third party event license agreements. Then you have the the event guidelines regarding graphics. You have to read the two or you're dead. The first one is very interesting. It allows you to organize any event you want. They just give you boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you respect these boundaries, you don't need to ask permission. You can do it. That's it. So if you don't have a cash price and a budget above $25,000, if you don't make people pay to play, if you don't make people pay to watch, if you don't make a variable cash price, meaning you need to announce the cash price with the event, not depending on the number of participants, you're good to go. You can organize a tournament. Epic is not even, let's say, very strict with the part with custom games, because most of the guys, thanks to support a creator, have access to it. Usually you're supposed to contact Big Game to get access to custom game. Even with that, they are, I'd say, yeah, they are support creators, they respect our license. That's cool. Okay, let's see how the event goes. Obviously, if you don't promote anything that is illegal, you're good. And after that, you just need to follow the guidelines for the graphics. If you follow things, that's very hard, but once you have stepped up that, you're good. You can organize your event without talking to Epic at any point. That was the goal of this document. That's it. So now I tell you, you can already organize your tournament. You just need to make sure that when you do it, you respect the rules, and after that, you're good.
Yeah. Well, the problem was, for me personally, it wasn't a tournament. It was like a different event. I should try and run that back again, but it was not a tournament. It was more.
It's not linked to tournaments. It's linked directly to event. Whatever you do that is an event, like you want to promote, I don't know, your project using Fortnite, you follow these guidelines. You want to organize like I don't know, like a party with friends that is publicly announced, you need to follow the guidelines. That's it. Very simple.
Okay.
And obviously not offline, because the license is not covering offline events due to COVID and stuff.
Gotcha. All right. Well, another positive thing, changing gears here a little bit, was the announcement of what's next for competitive Fortnite. And for the first time ever, right? We've never had a set game mode for more than one FNCS. We thought DreamHack was going to be solos for the entire year. Nope. Change that. We're going duos. And that was a positive change based on the community. And now we know, okay, doesn't appear that there's going to be any big World Cup next year, and that's due to COVID. Who can blame them, right? Um, but they're not going to be hosting any in-person events, which kind of sucks. You know, like the LAN experience is a lot different than an online event. A lot of these players and everyone involved in events, they're all just sitting on a computer screen like we are now and don't actually have that human interaction, that experience that comes with a LAN event. So that's going to be tough to see, or I guess not see next year. Um, I understand it and I respect the decision. It shows you that they take this seriously, the situation seriously, and people's health seriously. And from their perspective, you can't invest tons of time and money into planning a World Cup like event for them not to know whether or not it can happen 6, 8 months, 12 months from now, because you have to plan it now. Like you can't successfully have an event like that and try and do it a month ahead of time. It's just not possible. Um, but it's also good news for you, Crazz, because you guys have been hosting tons of online events and have been continuing to
Yeah.
succeed at those.
Yeah. But just so you know, the fact that Epic will not organize offline events might also mean that will apply the same restrictions they put this year was like non-third party also offline events. So it means that we could have 1 year without any big, because obviously if it's small, they will not be aware of, but at least no big offline event for still a year, which is sad from my point of view, but I understand also, like you, their position. It takes a lot of risk associating Fortnite, which is a fun game, with people getting COVID. Not a good publicity. So yeah, it's understandable, and we will go with online events and everything that goes with it. That's good news. We have, at least, as you said, we know we're going to go to trio, and thank you, Epic Games, for saying so. It was a nightmare in terms of organization. You don't know that also. It's like you're a tournament organizer. Usually, you manage your event like at least 3 months ago, 3 months before the event. In 3 months, they can remove the playlist that you set for your tournament. So you have to change your announcement, change the registration, change everything. Now we know that the trio will be available full time all year. If not, I don't understand how it work. If they remove it, I don't understand. But it means that solo and trio will be available 100% of the time, all the time, all the year. So that's a good news. It means we can schedule 6 months in advance, big online tournaments on trio. It will be okay, which is literally a revolution in terms of organization.
That's not
Yeah.
only just from the tournament organization part, but like from physical gameplay of Fortnite, that is going to evolutionize the way things start to change. Jordan, you were about to say something?
Yeah. I'm thinking back, like I think it was like 3, 4 weeks ago. I think the episode when we had Reese on as a guest, we were talking about how just from season to season, the constant shift of not only the meta and like the loot pool, and all the different map features, but also like the game mode switch from season to season. It's so jolting to have such a big switch up every single time, every few months, because the minute that people try to build this meta and try to understand the meta and grapple onto that, before you know it, before you're even starting to get a handle on it, everything switches up and you have to start back from new. And so we think about other esports where you have for years and years, you're kind of building up on this meta and people are gaining new skills, understanding the game more because you're still working with the same core game. In Fortnite, it's like you're building a tower, getting halfway there, and then it just gets knocked down and a new season starts. And so with obviously we'll still see some meta changes here and there, we'll still see some map changes, but for all of the next year, all of 2021, we have trios as a game mode. At least we could see some consistency between players who they're playing with, because we know that when you're playing with the same teammates over and over, you're just gonna get better. You're gonna understand how your teammates work. You're gonna be able to play around them better. Um, we're gonna have more consistent. It's gonna be more consistent in the meta, even if the loot pool changes, just because players are going to be, trios very different than solos. Trios very different than squads. So yeah, I'm really excited to see that, and hopefully we'll see more of like a just building blocks of improving on the meta, improving on like the overall gameplay.
And I think this is a general trend that we've seen from Fortnite over the past few months. Like Crazz just talked about it from a tournament organizer's perspective. And from a player's perspective, we have now a consistent game mode that is going to allow consistency. And I would expect that there's going to be some additional communication based on scheduling of tournaments and understanding. We already know that we're waiting until February until the next major tournament takes place. Granted, that could change in a heartbeat because, as we saw, Frosty Frenzy came a few days ago and is being played right now. But to know when these tournaments are coming, that there's going to be a consistent tournament for FNCS, which is the major tournament series we will be seeing within Fortnite, that's awesome to me. And I believe that this is all building up to have one huge trio invitational at the end of next year. Because if you're having, FNCS played season after season in different metas, we saw the solo invitational take place at the beginning of this year. And to see that come together within trios at the end of next year, that's going to be a super high level of competition. And if players can stay together and remain pretty consistent within the game, that's going to be awesome, and probably the highest level of Fortnite we'll have seen thus far, just from a competitive play. Now, they do mention that they may still alter the scoring or qualification season by season. The may is very big. If they don't do this, and if they don't play around with the scoring and qualification system, that could be a problem, because I personally don't think FNCS is perfect right now. We're still missing some pieces as far as FNCS goes, and there needs to be tweaks from season to season to perfect this if FNCS is going to be the be-all, end-all for Fortnite. Obviously, yes, we do want a World Cup, but FNCS is going to be the major tournament series throughout a large period of each year based on what we've seen. So tweaking things and changing things now that we're not changing that physical game mode, that is going to be important in order to continue the success of this game, because I personally believe that if we're playing a 3-round tournament, each round should not have the same scoring system. Like that just doesn't make sense. You shouldn't reward someone the same number of points for eliminating me versus eliminating like a Booga in the finals, right? That is a much more valuable elimination and harder to get. Same goes for placement and all that, but I don't want to get into that before we dive too far in. And then the last piece of this, the blog post, is, there's going to be more tournaments. Fortnite's not going anywhere. They're going to continue the Creator Cups, which is freaking awesome. We get to see some more continued collaboration between the community and Fortnite. Love that. Weekly tournaments. And then, a little piece there, they're sneaking in the unique tournaments. So we'll have some unique tournaments, whatever that may be. I mean, I think that's personally a good thing. But, players always complain regardless of what comes out. So any final thoughts, guys?
Yeah, real quick before we move on to the last topic. Crazz, you threw something in the Discord earlier this morning that you wanted to talk about. Let me find it. Oh, how Epic's cash prize strategy in tournaments the past couple of years is now a problem for Epic and third parties as well. Do you want to just touch on that real quick before we move on?
Yeah, and it's linked to the FNCS right now. We see a lot of debate about cash prize and stuff, and I think that's a debate I had the first time like 2 years ago. It's like $100 million in cash prize, guys. How do you expect to last after that? And what we said at this moment, saying like, guys, this is going to have an impact on players because they think they actually invest time and it's salary. And we switch from the 100 million year to a less million year, where actually players, the gaming was playing tournaments was a main source of cash to actually where players, their main source of cash became content. And I I think it became a problem for that, for the players. Then it became also a problem for Epic because obviously a lot of bad communication about the cash price for each event. Every time they lower the cash price, everyone complains. It makes a lot of noise, but whatever. And after that, you have the tournament organizer. Like you are Epic. You say, "Hey, we're going to organize like a 50K tournament." Okay, who is able on Earth to organize a 50K tournament as a third party? You know, which game can say they have a just for fun, you know, we throw like, even a 10K tournament. How many tournament organizers have a 10K tournaments every month or every week, or like no one? I don't see any other game where there is so much money on it. And that's a problem because it makes players think that 10K tournament is a small tournament. When I see people on FIFA just killing each other for a 500 euro tournament, and they are national professionals. So like that's a big problem in terms of as third party it's a problem because it makes things more difficult to make the player hype by an event due to the cash price.
Yeah, I think part of that, at least from like the not the third party aspect of it, but like just like the Epic Games organized tournaments, part of that is that, I mean, correct me if you think I'm wrong, but the casual scene kind of subsidizes the competitive
Yep.
prize pool in a lot of ways. And you know, we competitive players always like to shit on casual players and try to distance themselves, but casual players subsidize us in a lot of ways. And I think a lot of esports you don't see this huge well you don't see as many casual players in the first place, but you also don't see like this huge like separation between the casual player base and the competitive player base. And so it's a really interesting like dynamic in Fortnite. But um, right now what we're seeing, I think, is that casual player base may be either decreasing a little bit or just like moving into competitive more. And so I don't know. I think like as that kind of goes on, and as the casual player base decreases, you're going to see just like less money available to subsidize these massive Fortnite competitive tournaments. So like the $100 million that we saw in the first year of competitive is just not going to be possible in the future. I mean, maybe it will be. Hopefully, it will be. But it seems unsustainable.
To be fair, without giving numbers, because now it's like it's confidential information. But if at some point you had the ability to know where to look, you could have access to some info regarding the number of people who played Arena at some point. Trust me, the number didn't go down. Didn't. So
Yeah.
when people said dead game, never.
No,
Never.
absolutely not a
Like,
dead game. I think
stop dreaming.
I think it's
It's more
definitely
mature.
clear that at the very least, I think it's definitely clear that people are moving into the competitive side of the game. I think that's for sure the competitive side of the game is growing right now.
Yeah, and I think that can be supported by, I believe it was the previous, so not the most recent FNCS, but the previous trio FNCS when compared to last year. So Season X, the one that the shirt that Crazz is wearing, year over year, we had a growth. You know, everyone expected, oh, we had no World Cup this year. There's going to be less players, less interest. There was growth within the scene year over year just from like a trio's perspective. Again, I can't see the numbers, but anyway, Crazz, I want to be respectful of your time. I know we told you that this would be an hour.
No problem. We can take 5 minutes more to discuss last topics if you guys want. I'll expose myself to the next meeting. No problem.
All right, awesome. Wanted to make sure we did that. And now the last piece, and to me, I find this hilarious, but I'll just ask this question. Is there such thing as organized practice within Europe?
Okay, so here because when we talked about it, like just shortly, like in about the topics we should talk, the practice in EU is actually the question that, sorry to say so, but a North American will ask. And it's usual in video games. Like a North American always asks to European, yeah, guys, in Europe, how things are going? Guys, we have more than 40 countries in Europe. And I don't know how many languages. Like, we cannot even like we have the Spanish community, we have the French community, the German community, we have the Nordics community, we have the CIS Russian speaking community, we have the Balkan community. Like, guys, at some point you have to understand that it literally it's there is a lot of culture in Europe that are they shared some value. Obviously, we would not have Europe if so. But practicing EU, usually what I say, and I'm saying that after spending 2 years trying to make something, okay, here, that's my result. The best practice for Europe is actually for players to find a small community of guys, not necessarily best player in Europe, just tryharders. Okay, just guys who love to play competitive, that understand the necessity of practice, how it works. And you just play with these guys the most often as you can. After that, you take every opportunity you have to play with the best players to actually practice against them, because in terms of competition, you need to know how they play to, um, pick a bit of their strategy, where they land, how they do their stuff. But the best practice, the most common practice you will have in Europe is with your friends, with your community, and obviously a community of guys that have a close over to you. So the best practice I seen yet was like people from top 500, more or less, solo players, and you put that with team and friends, whatever. And they manage to have very stacked game, better than when all professionals player top 100 are playing together. They have better games than the guys, because when you mix very good player with very hardcore gamer, tryharders, the guys who are like, I want to win, I want the victory royale. Each victory royale is like they want something on their wall and they're happy. Uh, like me when I managed to get one. I could just put one on someone.
Oh boy.
It's like, yeah, you need to find these guys and practice with them. We could organize something in Europe, but the problem is, as we have a lot of communities, competition and stuff, every time say to someone, yeah, you did something bad, you won't be able to come back. The guy just go to the next and says to his friends that are playing your practice, say, hey, come with me, and say, oh, okay, and they just switch, and that's it. Literally, it's a schoolyard. Like, just accept that, and let the kids grow by themselves. They will just thrive. We will see in the first competition if we manage to get all European, North American, Middle East, Brazil, Oceania, and Asia players again. So World Cup-ish tournament, we will see who's the best. But until then, no need to compare, because what you have in North America match your needs in North America. What we have in Europe match our needs in Europe, and obviously brings the drama all streamers needs, because it brings a lot of engagement on the social networks every time there is a drama about practice. So they're happy with it. Let them have fun with that. And I'm really happy that North America managed to get that, because you guys literally went through shit regarding access to custom game and practice, and now you deserve to have some peace for a long time. Ready. So yeah, that's what I wanted to. I hope you understand my point of view,
Yeah.
but literally, and also it doesn't bring anything to organizer. Organizing practice is full-time job, a lot of pressure. You're talking to people making at least twice or 10 times your monthly average, and you're supposed to tell them what to do, what they can do, what they cannot do. Like, how do you manage that? Like, it's not possible, literally.
Yeah, I think you need buy-in from the players, and we saw Zate kind of put people in line here in North America. And I've never really thought of. I guess it's because in North America it's really three countries. It's Mexico, it's the United States, it's Canada, and there's at least some commonality between all of them. Most people speak English, or at least can somewhat understand English between those three, and in Europe, like you just said, it's so many countries trying to get involved in one one space, which really is not one space. So that's a very interesting perspective. I like that.
Hey, man, we got 50 states.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but it's mainly it's a language issue. Like
Yeah.
with the creative madness with Europe, like now most of the player invited speak English, but when you have like a battle royale where half of the player don't speak English, it literally it's thank God I'm speaking Spanish. This way I can help this community to organize things with European English, whatever. But we have Polish, German, and it's like, yeah, okay. Obviously, thank Polish community is very open. German also open, so they learn English. But still, a lot of people don't speak English in Europe, so it become very problematic in terms of communication. And even now we have Brexit. Who speak English? Now we have Brexit. Why should we speak a foreign language?
Uh,
Joking. That's just like usual joke from European people at the moment.
all right. Cool. Jordan, any final thoughts? Otherwise, we should let our guest go. He's extremely busy. So
Yeah, I know that you're swamped, so let's wrap this up if unless Crazz has anything else he wants to say, but
No, just a second. Yep, here we go. Sorry,
all
blurry
good.
webcam. No, again, thank you very much for the. You get me? That's okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So thank you very much for the invitation. As I said, I was very hyped to talk to you guys because I love to exchange with people from the community. And obviously, if you want to exchange in private in terms of topics and stuff, in terms of insight regarding what is happening, not in terms of drama and gossip and stuff, just more like if you want to understand the behind the scene, how things are done and organized, don't hesitate because we only covered the tournament part, but we also do broadcast production, the project management of events and stuff, how it went, technologies and cooperation with Epic regarding tools. It's like there is a wide stuff of topics here that can help you as an analyst because things coming to next year, I hope will help analysis to understand better Fortnite. Same for players and stuff. So yeah, whatever you want, whenever you want, guys. Thank you very
yeah,
much.
for sure. I'll definitely hit you up because what you guys do behind the scenes is actually incredible. I don't think everybody understands like the tools that you guys have and that you've built. But maybe I mean I know you're a busy person. Maybe sometime in the future you'll come on again. It's been a pleasure to have you. Uh, Everybody who's watching, go follow Crazz on Twitter at Crazz_E. Um, follow the stream. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Uh, Taylor, what am I missing?
No, I think we're good. We're chilling. Thank you guys for watching another great episode of the Boomer Talk podcast. Really appreciate Crazz coming on, joining us, sharing some awesome insights that you guys won't find anywhere else. It's exclusive to Crazz and the Boomer Talk podcast. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.